Hey, Lions fans, it's Jason from Talking Grit. You clicked on the video and maybe you're wondering, what are you talking about? The Lions just beat the Ravens and you're talking about things to improve on. Now, this is in the Dan Campbell vein of always looking at the tape, looking at things to improve. Week 3, we got to week 18. What can we get better at? I love this team. I love the way we're playing in week 3. Where can we get better? You see it on the field. I see it. See if we agree. Comment below. What do you think the Lions can improve on? Can they get better? Where should they get better? If you like what you're hearing, like and subscribe, and have a good day.
Welcome to Talking Grit.
The things that we need to work on, all right? Terry Arnold's first half struggles. He seems to do whatever happens in the first half. You know, they just keep picking on him. It's been in pretty much all 3 of the games I've seen, but then he plays much better in the second half. So we need to figure out a way to stop that. Have you noticed that?
I guess maybe he settled into the scheme more or something like that. I don't know what exactly that would be. It also, it's still unfortunate. It's one of those things where they need a huge play, and it seems like, okay, well, where's Terry? Where's number 6 at? That's where we're going to go with the ball. And it's not, doesn't seem like it's necessarily matchup dependent. They had that one where, it was a really long third down, and it was just like, let's just, we're going to chuck it up deep, and they went to whoever Terrion was covering.
Yeah, Terrion had his hips turned weird in that one. I think it's because it's their speed receiver. I can't remember who it was.
Was it Bateman?
I don't think it was Bateman. I think it's the other one. I can't remember. I have to look at it. But they turned his hips, and he was just out of position, and then he was just wide open. So we need to. I don't think it's unfixable, and also I think part of it is that they're shying away from DJ Reed. DJ Reed is so sticky in coverage that, if you're gonna pick on Terrion, if you're gonna pick out of the 2. So, which is weird because DJ Reed's coverage grade on PFF is not great, but I don't see it. I don't understand why it is. And my second thing that we need to work on, can we please, for God's sakes, hold on to an interception? Please. Yeah. Just hold on. Alex Anzalone in the first one and the Packers game, and then Brian Branch in this one. Awesome read by Branch. Amazing read by Branch. And then he doesn't come home with the football. God, I was so disappointed when he dropped that. It was so deflating, but we need to hold on to these interceptions.
That's the crazy part, is what a crazy good play it had to be for him to even have the chance. Like, the read, the beat he took on the ball, he got there right, awesome play. You're right. You got to finish. Yep. I'm sure he'll remember that one for a long time, because that would have been a game changer. And that was an easy one. Once you're there, you've already, you played everything else perfectly to execute. All you got to do is just catch the football. So yes, that's, very disappointing. Real quick though, I mean, you moved on, but like the Terrion thing.
Yeah.
Are you concerned? I know a lot of the fan base is already kind of calling the draft class, I don't know if you want to say a bust, completely up and down, but people are not happy. Rakestraw, Manu, Terrion Arnold is not playing like a round 1 cornerback that you would expect.
Mm-hmm.
I am okay with Terrion, but I do know that he has not been perfect, and he's not playing as cleanly as we would have liked to see so far, in year 2. He's still making a lot of the same mistakes. Things that we thought were corrected during training camp that just seem to keep coming back. Where is your head at? Do you think this is about as good as it's going to get? Do you think he's going to take another leap as the season goes on?
I think he's already taken. He's playing. I know the DeAndre Hopkins play is out, but as far as, he's playing the ball better. He's doing things better. There's just some other stuff that he needs to clean up as far as like just sticking with his man. And honestly, some of that seems worse than last year, as far as like guys running a little bit more open than I saw. So that does concern me a little bit. It's his second year. I'm not writing the guy off. The guy works hard. I mean, he's got the right makeup. He can make improvements. Some of it's also, we play so much man too, that, is that putting a lot on his plate? I don't know. But in the second half, he's playing. I mean, they're not picking on him as much. I mean, the coverage I saw, the all 22, it's sticky. So I don't know what's happening. If he's just like getting a better read on the receivers and like, getting used to getting used to their movements. And so therefore he can read them better. I don't know. Maybe he needs to do a little more tape study. I don't know if that's it, but I am not overly worried about it.
Yeah, I mean, I like him as a corner. I think the thing that most fans are pointing to is the whole round one thing. And it's also just the fact that most cornerbacks that are going to be elite have already shown those flashes and have already had elite
Mhm.
play at this point in their career. And
Yep.
that's where it's kind of like, will he take that next step? Is he ever going to take the next step? Or is he just going to be, this is, he is what he is. He's a pretty good cover corner. He's good in these situations. He's a pretty good number two for us. He's not going to be shadowing number one receivers, locking them down week in and week out.
Hmm.
Hard to say at this point.
It is hard to say, and I would prefer him to be up there. And then also when you compare him to Philadelphia Eagles, like Cooper DeJean and Quinion Mitchell, you're like, okay, those guys in the same draft class that were drafted. Quinion Mitchell was like one pick before Terrion, and then Cooper is obviously after. You know, that guy's kind of disappointing. Plus, you get, it's the whole Eagles angle. They draft all the players that, they take chances on all these players, and they seem to draft well each year.
Yeah, right.
One thing that I didn't like at the very end, so like in that garbage time play where Mark Andrews scored the touchdown, all out blitz. I don't understand why you all out blitz there. Like I play back and let them just keep like maybe guard the sidelines and make them throw it over the middle of the field and just waste more time. I know that like even with that, they scored that touchdown and they still only had like 23 seconds or something, like when or whatever it was when they kicked the onside kick. Like two more like plays to like even if they're sidelines, there's like that's 12 seconds off the clock, even if they catch it and go out of bounds. Then even if they get the onside kick, then they would have to like Hail Mary it, which I don't even want to put it in that position, but
Right.
that then
Flashback.
it like makes it even more unlikely. So I just didn't like the idea of just all out blitzing, like just set back and just make them dink and dunk down the field. Because at that point, I feel like that they had given up. Like they were just like in the motions of running out the game, and then we just like gave them this wide open touchdown, which maybe gave them a chance of even if it's like 0.01% of winning. I still didn't. I didn't. Why even give them that chance? That's what
Right.
I didn't like that.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah,
Just let
exactly,
him
Jim
breathe
Carrey.
more life into him just for a minute.
Yeah.
You're 100% right. And I don't know. I mean, they were shotgun wide, right? It wasn't like just a normal play under center. There, it just didn't seem like the right call to send everybody in that play. And then it clearly wasn't when we just completely forgot about Andrews. That's
Mhm.
another good one to look in all 22. In the grand scheme of things, no, it doesn't matter. But I mean, you still want to see what we saw on defense or what Shep was trying to do there. Because you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, potentially you stop him one more time, 10 more seconds run off the clock, maybe.
We don't need to end it with a sack. I mean, that's the thing. We didn't need to end it with a sack there. We just needed to like the clock was our friend at that point. Like use the clock to our advantage. Like who cares what Lamar can run all he wants. The more he runs, the more time that's coming off the clock. I don't care. Like let him
Right.
dance around. Just play the shell and keep everything in front of you. I that's why I didn't like there. Talk about what we need to work on, okay? Number one, getting points off turnovers. This has been an issue. Like even last week with Chicago, we got the Derrick Henry fumble. We need to go down and score a touchdown. We need to put the dagger in, especially when you get the ball on that side of the field. We had turned over Caleb Williams on downs, and we didn't do it. It's something that the Lions need to get a killer instinct and take care of. I don't know if it's a play call issue or whatever, or just coincidence, but I want to see that. I want.
Yes. These inopportune, even so, the sack that we had on Lamar Jackson where he fumbles and then, we get the ball, start off with the 20. That one also is three or four pass plays, and then we're punting.
Yes.
The in response to the touchdown that they had with, okay, there's less than 30 seconds left in the half. We're not moving the ball, hardly at all. I think there was 3 drives where, and most of them were, that one's kind of a fluke with the end of the half, but most of them were the ones where it's like we just decide to pass every single time. And I don't know if that's, for the greater good works out better later just because obviously we're keeping them honest. But you're right. It's happening when those big momentum swings are coming. Like, this is our chance. We've got a turnover. We've got a fourth down stop. This is where we really take it to them. We really put them away. That's when we could have used a really long drive too, or at least a first down. So to go 3-and-out in these times is exactly what I was thinking about when you had said before that we're leaving stuff out there. It's just those
Mhm.
couple drives where it's just, had we got one first down, maybe it's not a successful drive when there's no points on the board, but at least we're moving the ball and we're killing clock, we're taking momentum.
Yeah, that was a thing, like, we had stopped them, like, the Packers, we'd stopped the Ravens on the goal line, and then we get the ball at the 20, which was a godsend because they got fumbled out there, but then we give them the right back, and then they go down and score right before half, so it was almost like, I mean, you could also argue that they scored that touchdown, and then we go 3 and out, and then they score another touchdown, then they're up at half. I mean, you could make that argument too, so I could see both arguments, but you're right. We needed to get one first down, and we were running all over them. Like, I just say, just run it, because if we get the first down, like, I've seen the Lions do this enough where they're like, let's run enough clock, and then the Lions' offense is so good that we could get chunk plays after we run the clock. Like, even if we have to punt it, and you couple this with our punting issues, where I mean, after we punted on that from that, where we didn't get a first down, they got awesome field position. They're like two plays and almost to be in field goal range, but then they end up scoring a touchdown real fast. So those things work together. Like, we needed to get, if we don't get it, then Jack Fox has got to boom a punt and just knock them way back to at least their 20, so that they're wasting more time and they're playing for a field goal, not a touchdown.
Right. That drive started a minute 24 left in the half. We have all three timeouts.
Hmm.
Throwing it, you know, four times actually, because we got an illegal contact that first play, was not the move. We should have had a longer drive and then even take a field goal and take a 10-point lead into the half.
Yes.
Instead, that was the one where Stewart had to hold on to prevent a block from happening. And that
Hmm.
also kind of was why they got better field position, those extra 10
Yep.
yards as well.
Mhm. Yep. And then the other drive where we went 3 and out was the drive right before the Derrick Henry fumble, and I think I had texted you, I'm like, "I would have been okay with 3 straight runs here." Like, we coulda ran some clock, we coulda, got first downs. By that time, like, I know we kept putting Gibbs in, but just this was a Montgomery game. He was gashing him. He's the guy that's your battering ram. I would have been okay with using Montgomery more at the end in this particular game. I think Gibbs is, overall, he's the answer, but there are certain games you go with the hot hand. Monty had the hot hand yesterday. Just he was reading the blocks well. It was just all working so well.
Yeah, he broke off a couple of those really long runs, and that really made a difference.
Hmm.
Which is funny because, they're more worried about when Gibbs is back there, right? They're more
Yeah.
in tune with what he's doing and making sure there's no home run hit. And then they gave up a couple to Montgomery.
Yes. Well, I mean, Montgomery was gashing him for like 9 or 10 yards. He would get like a first down, like especially when we were on those that first 98 one. He's getting us out of the shadow of our own end zone, and it was just, yeah, it was amazing.